Hey everyone, it's Quartz, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're just gonna talk about something that I've had on my mind for the past while. So let's get into it. I recently started watching this YouTuber, Kanin, and I gotta say, they're not bad. Go check them out. Anyways, I was at the gym yesterday when I saw their video in my recommendations, and it was based on self-diagnosis and why they don't support it. They state that it's their first commentary, and you know what? I think it's pretty good. Compared to my first commentary, it's a lot better. But let's just get this out of the way. If you saw the like to dislike ratio in that screenshot, you can see how controversial this video got with some people. And honestly, y'all are fucking crazy. Just the sheer fact that people are getting this hot and bothered over a video on self diagnosis and why it's bad, it's a testament to the internet and how soft it's gotten lately. But you know what? Let's address some of the things that these people are saying in Kanon's comment section because it just needs to be seen to be believed. Let's look at an example. Quote, "First, if you have a problem with self-diagnosing, go pay for everyone that needs a diagnosis. Second, getting diagnosed is a privilege. There are lots of roadblocks such as accessibility, money, racism in the medical field, sexism in the medical field, and just doctors giving you the wrong diagnosis. Self-diagnosis is very valid if you've done your research. Genuinely don't want you to sit here and talk down to those that can't get diagnosed for one reason or another. It's gross. And I'm not talking about people online who fake things for whatever reason, because it's not okay to group them together with people that genuinely want a word for what they're going through such experiencing. Alright, I will say that money plus accessibility is a pretty serious hurdle to overcome when it comes to therapy and diagnosis. I mean, I'm over here trying to get therapy, but my state insurance doesn't fucking allow it. However, racism and sexism, alright, motherfucker, I want to hear you say that to a woman or minority in the medical field. However, however, they may be referring to, rather who gets treatment, not who works in the medical field. And I just want to say, fuck you. Go say that to a woman or minority that is getting proper treatment. And I seriously doubt that race or sex has anything to do with whether or not you get treatment, because that's discrimination. They legally cannot do that. They are supposed to treat everybody. That is their job. If they can't treat everybody, then they lose their job. And this is coming from a Hispanic who's basically considered the largest minority group in the US at the moment. And it's it has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with sex. It has whether or not you have good insurance, and insurance is expensive as all hell. And if you actually did the research yourself, you know that self-diagnose is far from fucking valid. Here, let me pull up an article for you in case you still can't understand. Here is a article by the Highland Springs Clinic, written by Dr. Todd Thatcher, called Dangers of Self-Diagnosis. This article goes in depth on what self-diagnosis is and the dangers of it, obviously. And here's what Dr. Thatcher has to say on self-diagnosis. Quote, "When individuals self-diagnose psychological symptoms, they can miss a medical disease that contributes to their symptoms. With self diagnosis, you can run the risk of being completely wrong about an illness you have, even if the symptoms you are experiencing are common. There are also many instances when you miss something that you yourself do not see. For example, you may feel as though you're crippled by anxiety, leading you to believe you have an anxiety disorder. While this may be the case, an anxiety disorder often covers up a major depressive disorder. As many as two-thirds of people who seek treatment for anxiety also has depression." So, checkmate. Let's look at another idiot on here. Quote, "Big point to the fact that it's super hard for women, non-whites, and other minorities to even get a shot at a diagnosis. The fact that OP is trying to police something barely accessible by a large amount of people just proves they come from a place of privilege with this. Some people don't have two parents who are doctors, valid. That is kind of true. Some people can't safely ask for a diagnosis in their own home. You can go online. It took me nearly a year to try and get a diagnosis just for a 30-minute video call with someone I don't know, and someone who didn't know me. Okay, but before I read the rest, I just want to say I literally just said you could go online and get a diagnosis from an actual doctor, and now you're sitting here saying that it took you nearly a year? That's probably because it's the pandemic. It's 2021. This virus has been around for a year, and a lot of people have been seeking therapy. You don't think that maybe the backlogs are all clogged up with people who are just waiting for an appointment? Anyway, let's continue. Yes, people who fake mental illnesses will self diagnose themselves, but is it really worth alienating people without the tools to reach out because, well, I got a diagnosis, so you have to as well? Okay, one, I don't think that was the main message of Kanin's video. Their whole video was meant to state why they don't support self diagnosis due to the fact that it's simply a very dangerous hobby and that it isn't valid at all. The message of the video isn't, I got a diagnosis, you have to as well because I got one. Like, no, that's not how it works. I don't think Canon would be providing that kind of information. And I think it's pretty funny that you're calling Canon privileged. Last I checked, you have access to the internet, otherwise you wouldn't be able to have posted that comment. 34.4% of the US or not the US population, but the world's population does not have access to the internet. So I guess you yourself are privileged. I guess we're all privileged here. More privileged than children in third world countries. And there are families in India who have to put bottles of water on the fucking roof to clear out bacteria because they have contaminated water. Based on how you're still alive, you have been able to hydrate yourself with clean water, so you're still more privileged than children in Africa and India. And pardon me for potentially being ableist, but last I checked, the disabled are not privileged. They get called the R slur and are discriminated against on a semi regular basis. That's not privilege, that's oppression. And as a non white, remember, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Honduran, I don't think pulling the "oh, minorities have it so hard" argument is really gonna help your case. If anything, you're pulling the race card to escape criticism. Next. Quote, doctors aren't always right, though. I was misdiagnosed and given the wrong medication when I was 14, and it completely ruined my high school GPA. There's a huge misconception about how easy it is when it comes to getting an actual accurate diagnosis from doctors, especially in America. Me and my mom have a long history of doctors not listening and making up their own conclusions to anything medical related, not just mental health, which is probably due to being AFAB. Many of the therapists I've seen over the years suggest I do my own research and bring that to discussion because we know ourselves better than anyone else. It's not wrong to do your research and find ways to help yourself instead of using countless hours and money that many of us don't have to get a doctor to write XYZ in our medical files. Okay, I won't bash you too hard because I'm over here struggling like a hooker with scoliosis, and I'm pretty young myself, so I can understand the struggle. However, if your doctors are really that eager to make shit up, then they're not doctors. They're probably those Karens you find on Facebook arguing about how their kids should go to school without a mask or a COVID vaccine. And if they're really suggesting that you self diagnose, again, not doctors, no rational medical professional who actually went to medical school, alright, no rational doctor who goes to medical school would actually be that eager to give out the wrong information because then they endanger people's lives and then they lose their jobs. Okay? So consider that. And to be honest, it's not a case of, oh, we know our bodies better than anyone else. We don't have medical degrees. Okay, maybe some of us are going to medical school to get medical degrees, but still, not all of us have the medical know-how to know our bodies inside and out. We don't necessarily know everything about how it functions. We don't necessarily know how to diagnose something like scoliosis or diabetes. That's why we go to a doctor, right? And I'm hearing a lot of motherfuckers saying, "Oh, why don't you pay for my diagnosis?" If you're trying to argue that, you're clearly missing the point. That's like expecting somebody to pay for everyone's drink at the bar, or expecting one person to foot the bill at an Olive Garden for an 8-person dinner. And if you really do not like what your doctor has to say, go find another. Kanin has made this point several times and it's valid as hell. Continuing to complain about how this one doctor just happened to misdiagnose you is like going to a McDonald's and complaining about how the Sprite just happens to taste like bleach. We can always walk to a Sit-Go and get a fucking 2 liter there. And I get that finding another doctor can be hard and expensive, again with this virus, but if money is really an issue, don't spend it all on hot Cheetos, Starbucks, and Cookie Monster yoga pants. Alright? And I've also heard many people call not Karen, I've heard many people call Kanin ableist for making a Helen Keller joke. Listen, if Family Guy can get away with making fun of Helen Keller, then a disabled person gets to make fun of her. Alright? Now, if you for some reason liked me ranting for about 11 minutes now, go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, check out everything in the description. And with that out of the way, this has been Naruski Quartza. Now gonna go edit this for God knows how long, and signing out. Have a good one, lads.